Alrighty, Roo, and good shoot to you and all my nobodies now watching out there. I didn't look it up. I took a second to sort of think it over. I actually spent way too long looking at these trees, trying to see if maybe they would provide some sort of like hint, like if the lighting would change or like the things would change. I did actually sort of analyze it, sadly, like after the you know, it timed out, and I just kind of sat there and messed around with it, and I did kind of see a difference, but it's probably in the head. Maybe it's not. I don't know, but I thought it through a bunch of different ways and did not look it up, because I'll deal with whatever happens, honestly. I just hope it doesn't, like, it will suck if my characters fucking die or whatever, like, because I'm, like, close to the end. I know it's kind of serious, but I'm still largely uninjured. There's one guy, he got a shotgun, and it's very possible I've sat here and scrutinized and stressed out and thought about and overanalyzed something that all of these are the same fucking outcome. It's just a different amount of words, and it's still gonna be the same way either way, and there's nothing I can do about it. But I felt like the best thing to do was just Tamika on my mark, even though that doesn't actually make the most sense. You know, it's like these two are basically the same thing, and we're not gonna let him live. He's Inquisition. He's not, like, we're at a. It's really the only logical thing. You know, trying to talk to him. The fact that that's the option is any words. It's like, I have celerity. Why am I like? I'm not using presence. I'm not using celerity. What freaking use is this fucking vampire power if you don't fucking do it? So I think it all probably ends up the same way, and the most logical thing is just go Tamika on my mark. So that's what I'm gonna do. A faint whisper escapes your lips and makes its way into Tamika's ear. On my mark, be ready. There shouldn't have, like, it should have been an unspoken thing. I know you guys have been working together as a team. That's also a part. It's like, we've been working together as a team for a second here. I feel like, you know, but whatever happens, there's nothing I can do. Personally, I think it all kind of probably turns out the same way. Raoul will die because there's a shotgun with a finger, right? Like, it's already, like, because I can't use presence, I can't use celerity. Like, ideally, I would use both. I'd be like, nah, fam, and super speed, and at the same time, because I have you know, fed recently enough. I haven't taken damage, but they don't give me those abilities because the game is very contrived and very controlled and has limited outcomes, and they do want you to play through multiple times, and they want to have everything have weight, but I think a lot of times it's just going to end the same way, so I just have to accept that that's probably the case, and if it's not, well, you know, the chips fall where they may. With shaking hands, the gunman looks to you. Then Tamika, as if warning you not to come into close. Back off, man! Just back off! Just give me some water! Back the fuck off! I'll fucking do it, man! Fucking pull the trigger! Sorry, I just always have to do that for that. It's, you know, old throwback. It's mostly for show. He's fucked, and he knows it. See, it's like, look, I mean, there's two of us. It's like, from your perspective, you're like, if I'm gonna die, I'm taking him with me, and that's probably what's gonna happen. You know, it sucks. I don't like that, but I didn't choose the situation. I did my best to help him, and I don't think I failed along the way that put him in this position. It just is what it is, because the game is what it is. You know, you make the best choices you can, and again, it's the world of darkness. Bad things happen, man. You bide your time, waiting for the right moment. Signal Tamika. Finally, you see an opening. A split second of hesitation. I guess you just stand there in a tense, not quite Mexican standoff where he's got a gun pointed at the guy and he's looking at both of you, and he looks at her, he looks at me, he looks at him, he looks back at me, he looks at the gun, he hesitates for a second, and we try to rip his fucking head off. But, you know, it is what it is. Like, I don't know, man. Like, before you can make your move, Raoul springs up. Oh, good for him! Grabbing the man's gun. See what I need to do? It's fine. Like that, fucking amped up and stressed out and trying to read the tea leaves of fucking moving Danzig trees for no fucking reason. And they don't even look the same anymore. They look different. They actively look different. And I know it's not because I took a second away and like it's like no, I think they actually do change to some degree. I don't know if they mean anything, but it might not. But he's doing something, so good for him. Way to earn your keep, hopefully, and not die. As they struggle, you and Tamika learn. Oh, they're struggling. Oh, well, he is injured. Well, maybe I spoke too soon. Damn it! Shut this up! God damn it! God, it's really annoying. Oh, you useless piece of shit! I know you were injured, but you got out of the cage somehow. We didn't even like do that. Like, I didn't even know that was an option. This is so contrived. It doesn't. It's like I'm laughing. I'm annoyed, but I'm less angry or sad or anyway positively emotionally engaged, and more just like laughing because it's like, you know, what can I fucking do? Like this was how this would go. There isn't another option for me. I don't think I could have. It's the illusion of choice is what it seems like, and that's supposed to give it weight, but when all the choices are so poorly, it's like, did I forget that I have like vampire powers? I have literally 2 vampire powers that could at least help me in some capacity here. Instead, I'm gonna sit here in a Mexican standoff and be like, get him on my mark. Even if it's like so quiet he can't hear it, but it's like, that's so and then he's like, haha, I got out of I Houdini'd myself out of this metal cage net thing. And then we're gonna struggle like a poorly written movie where, you know, this is what has to happen. I just want to be like, what you say? Oh, that you only meant well, and of course you did. I've been referencing that so much lately. I have no idea why, and it's concerning me. Because it's not a great sign. Like, it's not. It just really is not. Like I love that skit from SNL, and it's funny as hell. But it's like, it's not, it's like, as a thing that keeps popping up for no reason, and it keeps popping in my mind. Not a great sign. Don't like it. A shot rings out. Rolls bodies. Bodies, he has multiple bodies. Body collapses under the weight of the steel net. His head, a gaping hole. See, it's like, and they didn't even like write it that well. But I will state that I sat there and analyzed a lot of this fucking trees and shit. The trees do look different. I'm not gonna encourage, I mean, no one's watching this again, but I think if I actually sat there and wanted to spend more time, and I don't think this is the right state of mind and the right time or moment, and I'm not going to spend my time on it anymore. I've already wasted enough time on this. But I think if I actually did look back, I could see differences in the trees and stuff. Now that he's dead and his gaping hole, like there's like, that maybe did influence the thing, but I think it probably didn't, and there's probably a pattern in there. But did they just do that for the Toreador because that's sort of their gift and they're trying to subtly say that, and they just really should have laid into that more? Or am I just, yeah, no, too Malkavian for my own good? Anyway, well, sorrow. I hardly knew ye, and what I knew of ye was that you're sort of an asshole, and I didn't want you to die, and I tried my best, but, you know, the game's just gonna fuck you sometimes, and sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, and this time, well, the game just said, boy, fuck off then, putting a fucking hole in this guy, and it's gonna be something quite vile. But like even like each thing looks a little different than it did before, and some of it's not moving as much, and some of, you know, it's like there's just a lot here. Like it looks different than it did when I was analyzing it differently. And I don't think it's me that changed. I think it is actually there for a purpose and a reason, but it's just unfortunate. And I don't know that. I think the real difference in what was going to happen here is that Raoul was going to die. How Raoul died, or under what conditions, you know, whether he lost his head, or whether he had a hole in his chest, or whether he, you know, fought with the guy and they both died, that, you know, together somehow. Like, I don't know. Maybe they made out and became Romeo and Juliet and just do the poison thing and not properly communicate. Who fucking knows, man? I'm just trying to get through the game, and I enjoyed the game. I bought this forever ago. It's not gonna cost me anything recently. I don't remember what it cost me. I think it was not much. I think I got it on sale. I was excited, and then I was like, wow, there's a lot of reading, and I don't feel like reading this out, and I hadn't been doing Let's Plays that long, and I think I was playing, like, I think that's actually when I just had started really actually at all really doing it, and, like, doing any Let's Plays, and I was playing, like, Manhunter, or Maneater, and that was just so much more fun to do, and I don't regret that, but here's what it is. Basically, effectively a free game. Frustrating. I never finished it earlier. I passively watched awesome ass Maven of the Eventide play it, but I didn't, like, I think they played Adventure, so it still would have been, so they would have, there's still different options and things, and I think I spread myself too thin by whatever, but I just didn't understand the game, and that's why they wanted to play it more. But the reality is, it's still poorly, it's like not greatly written, and there's certain things where you're corralled. And I think Paul, shout out to Paul, I think he called himself curmudgeonly in that time because he was sort of grumpy. You know, like, I'm not gonna go in his personal life, not that anybody's fucking watching, but if somehow Paul hears this, it's like, hey Paul, I respect you, I think you're really awesome, and you keep doing you and taking care of Maven and yourself, and pretty sure they have kids. I don't know if that's something, I'm pretty sure they mentioned that. Yeah, they mentioned that. They mention it every now and then. And I actually think it's really cool that you and your wife, you help your wife with this. Like, you have your own job, you do other stuff, and you, like, that's fucking love, man. Like, fucking relationship goals, dude. Respect. And, you know, sometimes you were a bit of a grumpy grump, but you actually acknowledged that, and my understanding is that you took steps and actions to improve your own life, and you still, even as a grumpy grump or whatever, fucking were better than a lot of fucking people. So I kind of want to hear this now, just so I'm like, respect, you're awesome, thank you for being you, I'm glad that you seem happier. But completely back off the rabbit trail, back to my original point about Paul, as opposed to his personal life and the growth and all my support of all that, and how cool of a person he is. He fucking just straight up called out, he's like, this game seems like it's like one of those poorly done choose your own adventures. You can't even fucking, like, it's like you just want to go back. You're like, well, you ever read those books back in the day? You know, you get there and it's basically like, it's like you go back and you're like, go to page 26, and it's like, oh fuck, I died. And so you're like, and it's like, that sucks. It's like half a paragraph or whatever. You know, you read as you're flipping through stuff, you can say, oh, that's death. And you try to, like, to not think about it. And it's like, and then you get somewhere else and you're like, well, it says go to page 26. Nope, I know that's death. And it's the same, you know, it's like, even if you forget it, it's like, it's like, dude, yeah. I'm pretty sure he said something along those lines at some point. It might have been the Shadows in New York, but, you know, he makes some good points. I don't always agree with him, but he makes some good points, you know, and this game has frustrated me, and I'm thankful that he is so patient with a lot of the games and kind of some of the bullshit with just the vampire or the World of Darkness thing, because they do have a lot of bullshit, but Maven gets to make some awesome content, and he gets to help, and I think that it, even if he's sort of like somewhat begrudgingly sometimes sort of curmudgeonly along for the ride, he's a grown man. He can make his choices. He's a grown man who makes his choices, and it's like Bob's Burgers, where it's like, fine, but I'm gonna complain the entire time. It's like, okay, you're still doing it. You have the willpower, and you choose to be the type of guy who's like, I'm gonna support my wife and her vampire playthrough thing because her fans tell her to, and like, he takes it somewhat seriously, and he's a good balance. Like I don't think it would be the same without him, and I think she really benefits from him, and I think he's benefited too, even if part of it is learning patience, and that's never fun, and sometimes these games suck. And you know what? Sometimes somebody needs to say it. So you know what, Paul? You were right, bro. Sometimes some of these things, you probably say it a lot more, but you're still right. And I respect you. I salute you. Thank you for being a good partner to your wife, and a person that is real. Like, you're a cool guy, Paul. But you were right about this. I don't know why this just became like, so everyone sit down and let me just, like, praise Paul, like, alright, I'm gonna move on. Like I'm fucking fan standing Paul, like, but it's like not. It's like, this isn't like a weird thing. This is just like actual respect. And again, I've been awake for, I don't know. I like playing these things when I've been awake for like way too long, because when I listen to them later, I'm like, sometimes I have to get rid of it because I'm like, oh fuck, god damn it. But sometimes I'm like, what the fuck, man, this is funny, I'm all over the place. And sometimes it's just like, wow, I am so far over the place. I don't know if I can use this. But sometimes I can't help but use it because it's a storyline based game, so I've trapped card myself into needing it, and I'm gonna keep moving on because that's how little I care about fucking Raoul. That's how little the game made me care about him. That I would rather talk about a real human being and their life and their annoyance at this game and how, and like all this other stuff, like, than really have any investment in this Raoul guy who was made to be a jerk. It's just, honestly, everyone just open up another tab, watch this moment in Maven of the Eventides thing, and I'm sure whatever Paul says, because I'm pretty confident this is probably going to happen regardless, no matter what, it's all the same. He probably put it better and took less time. Fuck Raoul, fuck that guy, sorry Tamika, I am not gonna pour one out for the homie. It's not his fault that he's an asshole, he was just drawn that way. Bad writing, illusion of freedom, blah 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 blah, yakety schmackety. We're moving on. I'm not even gonna give you an F in the chat, Raoul. RIP, just, write it. People named Raoul, write them like an angry email saying justice for Raoul, because not all Raouls are crappy like that, and they deserve better representation. We're moving on. I said I was going to move on, but yeah. Anyway, gaping hole. Back to Raoul, or the lack thereof. Sounds so harsh. I'm gonna hear this later. I'm just like, I am an asshole, but am I wrong? I will have to get some perspective. Right now, I feel very justified in it. So, I feel like if Paul ever hears this, like, well, You're agreeing with me in this time of my life about this sort of thing. Maybe you were being an asshole. Or maybe not. Maybe he's right. Maybe yes, maybe no, maybe both. Doesn't have to be mutually exclusive. Knowing me, it could very well be both. Anyway, moving on. The operative looks at you, startled and confused. Did I do that? Whoopsie. Whoopsie. Wait, are you saying that was an accident? Like, you know, you're struggling with the guy, like, this doesn't even make sense! He's like, I mean, being startled and confused sort of makes sense, but it just sort of comes off as almost comical. Like, Three Stooges shit. Like, what the... Like, oh my god, this gun, it went... Shouldn't you just be like, ha-ha! Bang off, you monsters! Or some shit. I don't just like, rather than being like, oh wow, I got really lucky there, I guess, whatever. Oh, what's going on? Like... His eyes widen, seeing Tamika fly towards him. Death incarnate. Man, fly. You know, when you use the word fly, makes it sound like you're moving real fast, because in general, flight for most things requires a certain rapidity, a certain level of speed to maintain lift. Where was all that, Tamika? Just like, did Raoul surprise everybody? We're like, oh my god, Raoul! No. It's like that. I don't want to. It's like that one scene in Boondock. I'm just gonna go. It's not really a big spoiler. It's just like, no. He needs to do this for himself. Like, oh, help him out. Help him out. Like, you guys surprised? You caught flat-footed? It's like an old school. I don't think that's even a thing in D&D anymore. I mean, it still is, because there's a. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna go Zach Oyama. I'm sorry. I just don't know why you guys thought you could come in here and write this crap, and that, you know, like, I paid for it and that's cool, but that I'm not gonna call you out that this is kind of dumb and I'm not emotionally invested, and then you're gonna say things like this and it sort of like invalidates what you did before, and it doesn't, like, it's not cohesive, and it's like I've seen silly comedians improv so much better scenes that have like similar outcomes, and because it's more believable, like, you know, like it could be the same thing and it would just be better because, and they're just making it up on the spot, and you guys, you know, there's like editors, people, it's like a team, like, you know. But maybe you guys tried to warn me with the trees, right? I don't know. I'm still just ranting. I'm going to push the X button, and it's going to have the little finger, and we're going to move on. Death incarnate. Just a little late there. It's fine. The man's screams echo across the park. She doesn't stop. Not when his intestines are spread on the grass. Not when his eyes turn to bloody holes. Not when his face turns to mush. And then he fell on my knife 47 times. Okay, you know, it's like, then they try to make it all like, you know, well, it's like, and you know, then they try to make it dramatic, and it's like, it just comes off as campy, and not even quite campy, because campy is usually self-aware. This is like, I don't know, I'm too tired to use fucking language skills SAT vocab bullshit right now. You come up with a word, you write it down, you tell me what it is. This is gonna be bullshit. BS. I swear to God, if somebody puts an F in the chat for fucking Raoul, I'll just be like, you know what, honestly, he probably wasn't that bad a guy, and I was just angry. It's okay to be angry. It's okay to feel your feelings. F is for feels. F is for feels, F is for respect, F is for fuck Raoul. We're just moving on. Again, mush face, you know, just like, you know, he's like, oh, rawr, smash, hook smash, yay. Only when the screaming stops, only when it is certain he has met his cruel end, only then does she stop. You watch in silence as She walks over to what's left of her brother. See, it just like, honestly, once his face becomes like, she's a vampire, he's a human being, he's probably not even a ghoul or even like a martyr level hunter. He's just like a guy who's trained as gun and was the lucky person at the end of the fucking line. They said there were 6, but there were 7, or maybe they said it doesn't. His face being mushed, if he's still screaming through that after she did all the things that they described, it's just like, maybe I would have cared more if I got to see it and it was a little more, instead of just this light going back and forth and the trees no longer looking like they're trying to tell me anything, which just makes me believe in them more. Falling to her knees, Tamika lets out a yell unlike any you've ever heard, as if she's possessed by some wailing spirit, a banshee screaming out into the sky. I'm not going to take the time for this, or maybe I will, because I'll think it's funny enough, and I'll just like mute myself and like record like a moment of this and insert like the Wilhelm scream, or again, because you know you always have to do a Wilhelm scream for everything. I can't do a good voice. Fuck, I need to actually practice to do that. It's not easy. I guess that's why it's so like iconic, not just because it's used, but it's actually like, how did they do that? Good acting, actually, or sound tech, whatever. Foley expert, anyway. Or, to be classy, you do the suffering scream of you know, in Princess Bride of Wesley. Her scream echoes across the clearing until, finally, it all goes quiet. With tears streaming down her face, she looks up at you. Alright, that's that then. That's, thanks for trying. I guess I'm your friend now, let's go. It's my fault. They put us in their sights and it wasn't for me, so... no, honestly, they probably fucking found him because we brought him along, but if we brought him along, we might not have done as well. We might have done better, we might not have done as well. The fucking scarred one might be alive, maybe it was better not to bring him along, but I think just like it wasn't an option for me not to do this, like you were gonna do it anyway, and then I was just gonna lose you as a... You know, you're just gonna die, and I was gonna be like, fuck, I don't want to do this, me, I'll do it, but I'm gonna complain the entire time, or whatever, and be sucky at it. At least we got to try. It's like, I feel like he would have just shown up anyway. Like, you're not my mom, you're not my real mom. You ain't the boss of me. I do whatever, whatever. You know, so this is just an inevitable outcome with a minor illusion of choice. Seems very minor illusion. Like minor illusion as in like, do you want to cast minor illusion? I don't even know if this is accurate for minor illusion. It's like, do you want to make a sound? Do you want to make a static image? Or do you want to create some other effect, but it only does one and it's like, doesn't move. It's like, you have to be clever with it. And it's like, it's not quite clever. But yeah, sure, blame yourself if you want, but I don't think you should, because it was a red shirt, man. You know, he was a jerk. He was a red shirt. He was sloppy. They probably saw his face, and that's why they found him faster. It's not you. There's all sorts of reasons I could say, but you're gonna do what you do, just like he did what he did, and as long as at the end of the day you live and you're my, you know, you work with my coterie, I'm just like kind of checked out and done, and it's not because I'm tired, it's because this is kind of lame, and it makes me not, like, maybe that's why I only got to like, I don't know what day, I think I got to like, I think I've seen it here, it's like day 12 or day 13 or something, you know, because it's just like stuff like this happened, and I was like, yeah, let's just go be a shark and eat people. The story's better. That's probably the most savage thing I've said so far. And it actually was actually a pretty decent story in some ways.